Egyptian Self-Taught Arabic by Captain C.A. Thimm. The Grammar of Arabic. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org. Recording by Nadia. The Grammar of Arabic. Remarks. Arabic is a very rich language with numerous synonyms, so much so that it has been described by a wag as a language in which every word has its own meaning and exactly the opposite, and a third meaning of some kind of camel. Fortunately for the common needs of life, Arabic-speaking people are content with an ordinary vocabulary, and even the educated reserve the richness of their mother tongue for special occasions. The appealing 13 forms of the verb of grammarians dwindle in practice to the intransitive, transitive, and an impersonal form with occasionally a passive form, and prepositions are considered sufficient without the inflection of the various cases. Again, the student has the building up of a vocabulary made more easy for him by fairly consistent changes which are made in the roots to express various ideas. The verb. The root form is that of the third person singular of the past tense of the verb. From this is formed most regularly a word which means the place or time of performing the action indicated by the root form. Thus, kataba, he wrote, makes maktab, the place of writing, meaning the office. Khazana, he treasured up, makes makhzan, the place of storing. Hence our magazine, Sama, he fasted, makes Mausim, the time of fasting, hence our word Mausum. Rakaba, he rode, makes Markib, a ship. Sharaba, he drank, makes Mashrab, the drinking place, used in the form of Mashrabiya, the lattice work round native windows. Shorba, properly shorbat, a drink, English sherbet, is another derivative from this root. Note, it is interesting to note the number of Arabic words that have been imported into the English language, besides the above and the well-known forms, generally beginning with al or el. Alchemy, almanac, alembic, elixir, algebra. The last from an Arab mathematician with the appellation of al-Gabbar, the giant. Thus many less distinctive words are found, such as admiral, arsenal, to drub, to booze, ghoul, zani, popinjay, bug, not indigenous to England. The introduction of these into our language is probably due to the Crusaders. The soldiers of later days are responsible for a great many Hindustani words in current use in our colloquial language, such as to crab, military term from Arabic root kharaba, club punch, bobbery, so long, and numerous others. End of note. The past participle of a verb is also regularly formed and can be used like an adjective. Thus from kataba, he wrote, maktub, written. From shagala, he worked, mashghul, busy. From fataha, he opened, maftuh, opened. From fahima, he understood, mafhum, understood. The intransitive verb is made transitive by doubling the medial letter. Thus, شغل, he worked. شغل, he made to work. The impersonal form is constantly used as it is in French and is formed by prefixing the sound of yit. يتفتح, it is opened. Compare il s'ouvre in French. يتغسل, it is washed. Auxiliary verbs. One is not troubled in Egyptian with many moods and tenses. One tense, the present, serves also for the future. The past tense is uniformly constructed from the root, and the auxiliary verbs to have and to be are represented by one form of auxiliary, which is here given and is typical of the inflections of all verbs. Present or future. أنا أكون, I will be or become. إحنا نكون, we and see, German werde. أنت تكون, thou and see. أنتم تكونوا, you and see. هو يكون, he and see. هم يكونوا, they and see. Past. أنا كنت, I was or became. إحنا كنا, we and see. أنت كنت, أنتم كنتوا. هو كان, هم كانوا. There is no verb corresponding to I am. It is omitted. Thus, أنا مبسوط, I am contented. هو فقير, he is poor. I have and see is formed with the preposition عند, near, and the personal pronouns as. عندي, I have. عندنا, we have. عندك, thou hast. عندكم, you have. عنده, he has. عندهم, they have. I had is كان عندي, there was near me, and similarly for the other persons. General formation of tenses. An ordinary verb, كتب, he wrote, is here given, and all the verbs are formed similarly. كتب, he wrote. كاتب, writing. مكتوب, written. Present or future. أنا أكتب, I write or will write. إحنا نكتب. أنت تكتب. أنتم تكتبوا. هو يكتب. هم يكتبوا. Past. أنا كتبت, I wrote. إحنا كتبنا. أنت كتبت. أنتم كتبتوا. هو كتب. هم كتبوا. Imperfect. أنا كنت أكتب, I was writing. إحنا كنا نكتب. أنت كنت تكتب. أنتم كنتوا تكتبوا. هو كان يكتب. هم كانوا يكتبوا. Pluperfect. أنا كنت كتبت, I had written. إحنا كنا كتبنا. أنت كنت كتبت. أنتم كنتوا كتبتوا. هو كان كتب. هم كانوا كتبوا. Nearly all imperatives are formed uniformly as اكتب, write. امسك, take hold of. امشي, walk or go. افتح, open. from مسك, ماشي, فتح. A form to express present action, to distinguish the present from the future, is often used, the present being given the prefix be. Thus, أنا بكتب, I am writing, now. أنت بتكتب, هو بيكتب, and see. The verbs call for no further remark beyond the fact that there is a feminine form of the third person singular, present and past tense. Thus, she writes هي تكتب instead of يكتب. She wrote هي كتبت instead of كتب. Similarly, she was كانت instead of can. Collective nouns also take this feminine singular form, as الجمال تأكل, the camels eat. The pronoun, except when governing the verb or as the subject of a sentence, the forms of personal pronouns أنا, أنت, هو, and sie are not used, but another form, as in عندي, I have, quoted above. Similarly, تحتي, under me, جنبي, by my side. To express possession, the word بتاع, belonging to, is used. Thus, بتاعي, mine, بتاعك, thine, بتاعه, his, بتاعنا, ours, بتاعكم, yours, بتاعهم, theirs. But, unless it is intended to lay stress on the possessive, this word is generally replaced by the suffix. Thus, ملكي, my property, وشك, your face, رجله, his leg, and see. The dative form of the personal pronoun is made with the prefix l. لي, to me, لك, to thee, له, to him. The dative form of the personal pronoun is made with the prefix l. لي, to me, لك, to thee, له, to him, لنا, to us, لكم, to you, لهم, to them. Formation of plurals. The regular form of plural is made by the addition of in to masculine words and at to feminine. The feminine word generally ends in ta marbuta, see page 10, and is transcribed as when it's a simple noun and yeh when a derivative noun. It therefore causes little difficulty, and being feminine in accordance with previously conceived ideas on the subject, one is not troubled with unreasonable genders. As a set-off to this, the plurals of nouns disport themselves under so many guises that the above rule of adding in and at is chiefly of use in the formation of the plurals of adjectives and of feminine derivative nouns. The plurals of nouns, note, and of some adjectives, end of note, ring the following kinds of changes, and each must be learned as an exception. For instance, singular, plural, singular, plural. شباك, a window. شبابيك. جبل, a mountain. جبال. مركب, a ship. مراكب. بيت, a house. بيوت. فوطة, a towel. فوط. حيطة, a wall. حيطان. ولد, a boy. أولاد. حكيم, a doctor. حكمة. The dual form is obtained by adding in, thus راجل, a man, رجلين طيبين, two good men. The definite article. The definite article, the, is repeated with a qualifying adjective. Thus, الجيش الكبير, the large army. It has no feminine or plural form. Before certain letters, suffers elision and duplicates the initial letter of the following word. Thus, النار, the fire, الشمس, the sun. The negative. The negative is peculiar. Not is mush, compounded of ma, not, and she, a thing, and can be separated like ne pas in French. Thus, I know is أنا أعرف. I don't know أنا ما أعرفش, or مانيش عارف, or simply مش عارف. The adjective, comparative and superlative. The forms are regular and as follows. حسن, good, beautiful. أحسن, better. الأحسن, the best. شاطر, clever. أشطر, cleverer. الأشطر, the cleverest. كتير, many or much. أكتر, more. الأكتر, most. Classical الإكسير, hence elixir. كبير, great. أكبر, greater. الأكبر, greatest. For example, Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest. Genders. The feminine of adjectives is formed by adding the letter he. Thus, the feminine form of the above words becomes Hasana, Shatra, Kitira, and Si. The adjectives of color are peculiar. For example, Abyad, white, feminine, Beda. Ahmar, red, feminine, Hamra, hence Alhambra. A list of these is given on page 34. Polite diction. It is not impolite, as in most European languages, to use the second person singular, but it is usual in speaking to equals to use the word حضرتك, presence. Thus, instead of inta, thou, and huwa, he, one says politely حضرتك, حضرته. It is not necessary when the expression used is in itself polite, as من فضلك, please, كتر خيرك, thank you. Allah يحفظك, God keep you. نهارك سعيد, good morning. ليلتك سعيدة, good evening. If the person addressed is of much higher rank, the word سعادتك or سعادتكم should be used and pronounced سعادتك سعادتكم. It is well to be familiar with the expressions by which God is invoked. Thus, Allah is often used during a pause in conversation. Bismillah, in the name of God, on starting work or a journey. Insha'Allah, please God, used constantly for perhaps. Masha'Allah, an expression of surprise or admiration, in the later case with the intention of avoiding the evil eye. Yallah, by God, used always for go on, let us proceed and see. On entering a room or house, one is addressed with the words marhaba, welcome, or more cordially with ahlan wa sahlan, make yourself at home. As a rule, the expression assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you, is reserved by Mohammedans for Mohammedans, but if used to a Christian or other, should be answered by alaikum assalam, on you be peace. Politeness requires that, on all occasions, of making an offer of a seat, cigarette, coffee, and c. the words اتفضل, be gracious, must be used as a preliminary. Note: Wallah is a form of oath for by God. End of note. End of recording.